Hello, my name's Tom Craggs. I'm a running coach working for a company called Running With Us. We are the coaching partners to Running Bug in the UK. And today I want to talk to you about the half marathon training plans I've written for Running Bug that take you from where you are now to completing a half marathon in 10 weeks' time. We've outlined plans for beginners, those of you who may not have run a half marathon before or certainly not run one in a long time and you're looking to step up. For improvers, who maybe you've run a few 10k races in the past and run them reasonably competitively and you're looking to step up to the half marathon, or maybe those of you who have run a half marathon before but you're looking to improve your time. And we've written those for the more experienced runners out there who are certainly looking to build upon an existing half marathon PB and push that along, or maybe even you've run marathons or certainly regular 10Ks and raced them in the past. Today I want to talk to those of you who are looking to follow the Improver plan, which will certainly be a lot of you. It's not really time-based, so this could cover anybody looking to run from anything between 90 minutes up to 2 hours. It's more about your level of experience and your available training time. So you will see from the plan that I've laid out training spread over 5 sessions a week. One of those is a cross-training session. Cross-training, we've written articles on this for Running Bug and please do check them out. But in essence, it's basically anything you're doing to build your heart and lungs that isn't running. So that could be work on an elliptical machine in the gym, on a bike, aqua jogging or swimming. Basically support cardiovascular exercise that gives your muscles a little bit of a break from the running. In terms of the running, well, that's split over about 4 sessions a week and will include a mix of different intensities. And that's the key for the Improver plan, is to say, look, in order to progress and in order to get a PB or to move your fitness beyond its current level, we need to start to do some training that pushes the envelope a little bit, pushes those areas of discomfort to make sure that your body's able to do more than perhaps it's done in the past. That's how we're going to go out there and find that PB. But in order to progress and actually in order to go out and achieve some really fantastic times over the half marathon, which is a challenging distance if you don't get your training right, the key is to say, look, you do need to do some things a little bit differently to what you might have done in the past. If you keep doing the same sessions over and over again, the same run around the block, the same long run routes at the same pace you've always done before, sure, you might progress, but your rate of progression will be quite slow. What we want to do over the course of this 10 weeks is to say, look, let's get you as fit as we possibly can by introducing perhaps some new elements that you don't currently do in your training, and maybe explore how you progress your training week on week to ensure that we're sort of pushing your body along beyond what you might have done without following this training plan. So look, there's loads of different training plans out there. In fact, I've written other training plans for Running Bug, and lots of other coaches will have training plans out there with different training methods and different training runs included. The thing I'd say to you is that the purpose of this specific training plan is I've included all of the key elements in there that I think are most specific to half marathon training. And as the weeks go by, as you move through the plan, the goal of the plan is it gets more and more half marathon specific as you go through. So whilst you could definitely follow another training plan and get just as fit, once you've started on this plan, please do stick with it and try not to get too diverted into following bits and pieces from other people's training or other training plans, because what will end up happening is that you never quite follow this training plan or that training plan. You kind of fall somewhere in the middle. So stick on the plan, because the whole point of it is it builds certain effort zones as you move through the weeks. You will see that I've outlined 4 different training zones for you to work in, and it's pretty simple. Zone 1 is fully conversational paced running. For those of you who are heart rate monitors, that'd be about 70% of your maximum heart rate. If we were running together, we'd be able to fully converse and fully chat. And actually, probably the majority of the training plan gets you running in this zone. Great, probably some of you will think, no problem, I've got no problem with easy running. But actually, it's an area that we find a lot of runners and a lot of improving runners is really struggling, because most of the time they're going out and probably pushing their easy runs just a little bit too hard. The purpose of easy running is it builds your body's ability to transport oxygen more effectively, it builds capillary density, it builds the energy production factory in your cells, your mitochondria, more effectively than just going out and doing harder sessions. Of course we do have harder sessions in the plan, but by keeping your easy running easy, that's in the zone 1 area that we've laid out, we guarantee to you, you will get fitter, but you will also be able to do your harder sessions even better. So look to hold back your easy running. Don't worry about pace, just run to effort, fully conversational, 70% of your maximum heart rate, and enjoy the time on feet. And that's particularly the case in the early weeks of the training plan as we build a bit of a base of regular running and cross training. Zone 2 is kind of steady running, and I'd suggest that's where a lot of runners end up doing most of their training. It's around the block running, or bus stop running if you like, where you see somebody walking the other way, you're running in front of a bus stop and you just push the pace on a little bit. You're never quite fully easy, but you're never into the next zone up, that kind of zone 3 controlled discomfort I'm going to talk about in a second. Steady running has a role in this training plan, and you will see it pop up from time to time, but it's not a big role, if I'm honest. If you do too much in this area, to be honest, it can become junk mileage, and it can just become a repeat of what you're already doing, in which case, what's the point of following a plan? So make sure you do the majority of your running in zone 1. We're only doing little bits and pieces in this zone 2 area where the plan specifies that. Zone 3 is probably the golden zone of the training plan, and you will see it in there a lot. It's what we call controlled discomfort. It's blocks of running, perhaps 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, even up to 10 minutes worth of running at a controlled discomfort where you could only speak perhaps 3 or 4 words at a time. And for those of you using heart rate monitors, that might be 80 to 85% of your maximum heart rate. Try not to overthink it. Pace-wise, it's going to fall somewhere between your 10k pace and your half marathon pace. Probably for most of you, particularly in the shorter blocks, a little bit closer to your 10k pace. But it's not 5k pace running. That's too hard. Okay? It's a controlled discomfort, and it's really important you learn what that feels like, that you don't push so hard that the sessions I've laid out become unsustainable. It will take a week or 2 to start to get used to this feeling of zone 3 running. But certainly by week 3 you should really get a sense of how hard you can push without it becoming unsustainable. It's included almost every week in a training plan. It's absolutely essential. It's a little bit faster than what will be your half marathon pace, and it really, really will help your body get used to half marathon pace and build your speed endurance. So this combined with zone 1 are your key 2 key effort zones that we're going to be building up as the weeks go by. Zone 4, that's what would be classically called interval running, hard efforts where you might not be able to speak any words, certainly no polite words at least, and that would be probably 85-90% of your maximum heart rate or above, 3k pace running, 5k pace running, hard effort. It's got a role, but it's a relatively limited role. This stuff is the icing on the cake. Ultimately here, we want to get your body used to running 13.1 miles at a harder intensity and a sustainably harder intensity. And that's why the plan is more focused on that kind of zone 3 effort of longer but slightly more controlled intervals. You will also see in the plan a few other elements I want to talk through. I've outlined some efforts that I call pickups. These are just short bursts of running at about probably 80% of sprinting effort, not full sprints over the course of about 20 seconds. They're not really there to build your heart and lungs. They're actually there just to get your legs turning over a little bit quicker. Some of you may be familiar with the term strides, and that's all these are. They're designed to get your legs ticking along at a slightly quicker pace, and it'll make the rest of your running feel a little bit sharper. You will see in the early weeks of the plan we've also laid out some hill efforts. These are really important for building strength in your glutes, your hamstrings, your hip flexors, your calf muscles, and they're also, if you like, speed work in size. So they will get your heart rate up and your body working at a higher intensity. Find yourself a hill of a relatively steady gradient, perhaps 6 to 8%. do the harder intensity efforts we've talked about, but again, don't do them so hard at a full sprinting effort that you can't complete one or two more without falling into a crumpled heap. There still needs to be a bit of control. Run hard up the hill, focusing on nice, tall, strong posture, pumping the elbows. Check out the advice we've got on the hill running and hill technique in other areas of the running bug. When you get to the top of the hill, turn around, very gently jog back down to recover, and then attack your next block. You'll see over the first 4 weeks, 4 to 5, 6 weeks of your training plan, that your blocks of hill running gently increase as the blocks of threshold running in other areas of your training plan also increase. The long run builds sustainably and progressively as the weeks go by. Please do hold the effort back in the early weeks, and you'll see in the final 3 to 4 weeks we've suggested dropping into the second half of those long runs some planned half marathon paced efforts. Now obviously when you stand on the start line of your half race, you need to know what pace you're intending on running and that you think you're able to run for that race, and that's why we suggest in the final few weeks of your long run building in some half marathon specific pace into your plan. So if you take the final few weeks where we've suggested including perhaps blocks of 15 to 20, 25 minutes worth of half marathon pace running in the second half of your run, the first half would be fully easy, it would be zone 1. But the second half of the race you might be doing these blocks at a slightly more controlled discomfort, so we're just pushing the pace along a little bit in the second half of your long runs, and that should give you the confidence that you can hold that pace on race day. In your long runs, do plan your race day nutrition. You might want to take a gel or even two in your half marathon if you're looking to run for an hour 45 plus. That might be a good idea. And obviously, in those final few weeks, do get used to the kit you're planning on using on race day, planning your right race day nutrition and hydration strategies. Check out the other advice we've got on Running Bug for your strength and conditioning. I'd certainly be looking to get out there and do at least a couple of core sessions each week. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. A couple of 15 to 20 minute sessions, or perhaps even a Pilates class a week would be highly effective. And do check out the advice and tips we've given for top nutrition to support your running. Enjoy your training journey, let us know how you're getting along, and good luck with pushing towards that half marathon PB in 10 weeks time.